So Google's 19 event occurred yesterday, and Google announced a few things, and among them is the Google Pixel 5 and the Google Pixel 4a 5G. Compared to the rumors I talked about in my previous video, we got what we expected. Everything we were expecting is what we got. And I have to mention, no other phone has coupled wireless charging or reverse wireless charging with an aluminum back. So we all thought it was impossible, but then Google actually did it, and that's the first, and this is very impressive. So I'm going to go through the Google Pixel 5 specs and the Google Pixel 4a 5G specs later. They are very similar, but then I'll still go through them in case you haven't gotten them or you just need a refresher. So for the body of the Google Pixel 5, the Google Pixel 5 weighs 151 grams. It has Gorilla Glass 6 protection on the front. It has an aluminum back and aluminum frame. And the screen is a 6 inches capacitive touchscreen. It is 6 inches OLED capacitive touchscreen with a resolution of 1080p by 2160 pixels, and it has a refresh rate of 90 Hz with a pixel density of 432 ppi. The camera system is different like we expected it to be. It's a dual camera setup, a 12.2 megapixel main camera with an aperture of 1.7 and a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle camera with an aperture of 2.2. We also have new video recording capabilities. Normally we have 4K video recording at 30 frames per second, and then we have 1080p video recording at 30, 60 and 120 frames per second. But Google has taken it a step further. We now have 4K video recording at 60 frames per second and 1080p video recording at 240 frames per second. The front camera is an 8 megapixel hole punch camera, and the phone will run on Android 11 and get 3 years of Android OS updates. It uses the Snapdragon 765G chip with 8GB of RAM and then 128GB of UFS 2.1 onboard storage. There is no face unlock on the Google Pixel 5 like we expected. It was dropped from the Google Pixel 4a, and then on Google Pixel 4 it was somewhat a failure. It was kind of like a failure, it was a flop. So now they're moving back to the reliable fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone. The battery is also improved. The battery has greatly improved. We have a 4080 mAh battery which also supports 18 watts fast charging, and then it also supports wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, which you can use to charge your earbuds, Pixel buds. You also have two colors available, just black and mint green dimension area. It also uses stereo speakers, and it costs about $700, which is around 267,050 naira. And it also supports 5G. And now for the Google Pixel 4a 5G. Google also announced a 5G variant of the Google Pixel 4a, the Google Pixel 4a 5G, with slightly different specs, and I'm going to go through them. For the body, there are two weight variants, the 168 grams version and the 171 grams. The 168 only supports sub-6 network, and 171 grams supports sub-6 and millimeter wave. It has Gorilla Glass 3 protection on the front and a polycarbonate or plastic back and frame. The display is a 6.2 inches OLED capacitive touchscreen with a resolution of 1080p by 2160. It has a pixel density of 413 ppi and a standard refresh rate of 60 Hz, covered by Gorilla Glass 3. It will also run on Android 11 and get 3 years of Android OS updates too. It uses the same chip as the Pixel 5, the Snapdragon 765G chip with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of UFS 2.1 onboard storage. It uses the same camera setup like that of the Pixel 5, a 12 megapixel main camera and a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. You can also record 1080p video at 240 frames per second and 4K video at 60 frames per second. The front facing camera is a hole punch camera, and it's an 8 megapixel selfie camera. It will also feature stereo speakers, and like the Pixel 4a, it has a fingerprint sensor on the back. The battery is also larger. It's a 3885 mAh battery. It supports 18 watts fast charging but doesn't have wireless charging. And then it only comes with one color, just black, and it costs about $600, which is 228,900 naira. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you love the video, subscribe to my channel. It will be massively appreciated. That's it, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.